Here we go. All right. Let's be on the record in case number 2019-CR153, captioned State of Kansas versus Dakota Nepstad. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
May it please the court, the state of Kansas appears virtually through Assistant District Attorney Adam Sokoloff.
May it please the court, defendant appears in person in custody by Zoom with counsel Anthony R. Russo also by Zoom.
All right. We are here set down today for a revocation hearing. Putting up on the screen the motion for revocation and today's report. I'm going to mark that State's Exhibit number 1. Any objection to it being received?
No, Your Honor.
It'll be received. Mr. Russo, the allegations are fourfold: that it was a failure to report, failure to obtain evaluation, and or engage in outpatient treatment, failure to obtain and maintain employment, and failure to pay. Have you talked with Ms. Nepstad about those allegations, and does she have a position today?
I have, Your Honor. It is my understanding that she will be stipulating to violating the terms of her probation.
All right. Ms. Nepstad, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll accept that stipulation. And I have reviewed the recommendations of the probation office. Mr. Sokoloff, any comments on disposition today?
No, Your Honor, other than I think the nature of my position forces me to ask this court to remind Ms. Nepstad of the unique outcome that she received vis-a-vis the dispositional departure versus the durational departure. I believe we had a similar admonishment at the initial sentencing. You know, I think Mr. Russo probably has told Dakota that I and you specifically were pretty lucky draw for her. All things considered, that might not be the case if we find ourselves back here. So I would say follow the Honorable Mr. Gooch's recommendations, hitting her with a tier 1 credit for time served. And I will leave to this court's discretion whether or not, I'm not asking for it, Your Honor, if it needs to be extended. I believe that she had 36 months of probation. We are approximately 1 year into that. I think 2 years is probably sufficient to demonstrate whether or not she's successful. So I'm not asking for it. That would be the only variable there, would be the term of probation, but I think there's enough time left. So I would say tier 1, maybe a couple stern words, and we all pray that we don't return.
All right. Mr. Russo?
I would join in those recommendations, Judge. She has served enough time for a tier 1 sanction. With the last time you saw her, she was pregnant. She actually is again. So I have a feeling that once she gets back to Douglas County, she'll be working on trying to get that straightened out.
All right. Ms. Nepstad, anything you want to tell me before I decide what to do with this violation today?
I am gratefully sorry, Your Honor, and I do realize how great of a lucky of a chance I have gotten again from you guys, and I do really appreciate it. I've talked to my lawyer, and I understand that I do not need to be returning here, and I totally don't expect myself to. I've had a breakthrough, and I'm going to take it very serious. I am truly am sorry. I do live in Douglas County, so it's hard for me to come and commute, but I've made new arrangements, so I should be completely on board with all of that.
All right. Well, you can keep dealing with your probation officer, see if they can get courtesy supervision in Douglas County. But
Right.
until that's approved, you need to make sure that you're making your appointments.
Right.
Look, I know I told you this before, but I do need to reassert it. You got a dispositional departure, which means none of us have to give you the tier 1 that you're getting today. Okay, the law says anyone who violates their probation should get a tier 1 sanction before you send them to prison. But the people who are accepted from that are people who got a dispositional departure to begin with. In other words, the ones that the law said, absent these circumstances, should have gone to prison in the first place. All right. So I need you to understand that you're kind of running into, and I think Mr. Sokoloff is right, like 3 of the practitioners around here that are kind of particularly well suited to give you another break.
Thank you.
Look,
Thank you, Your Honor.
I can't imagine a scenario where we're back doing this again, where I don't have to send you to prison. Okay. Now, look, does that mean that I expect that you are allowed not to make a single mistake between now and the next 2 years? That's not it. Look, I know your big issue here is the substance abuse. As long as you're working that, and working on getting sober, staying sober, and if unfortunately there is a relapse, you get right back in and work on reestablishing your sobriety, learning why you relapsed, and coming up with a plan not to do it again. You're going to be okay. Okay. But if you do this again, where like you stop reporting, you don't engage in treatment and all that, you're not going to give me any choice but to send you to prison. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor. A lot of that is because I was scared, it is intimidating. But now that you've related to me, I will take it very serious, and I promise I don't see myself relapsing.
All right. Well, look, I understand that and I appreciate that. And I think that's how you should go into it. But you have to understand that it lurks there. And if it does happen, I'm not saying it will happen. I hope and I expect that it won't. But if it does, it's not the end, right? You don't get to go, well, I threw up my hands because I relapsed, because I've told you, you can deal with a relapse. All right. What we can't deal with is you giving into it and saying, well, I've relapsed. I guess I can't stay clean. I'm just going to go live my life for a while until they catch me.
Right.
All right.
Thank you for giving me your strength. I really appreciate that.
You bet. All right. I am going to find the defendant in violation, accept her stipulation, order that she be serve a 3-day sanction with credit for time served. She'll be reinstated on her probation, and it will, at this time, I'm not going to extend it. Let's see how the next 2 years go, and hopefully she'll be able to walk that. If she can walk the next 2 years, I don't see any reason to set another year today. Mr. Gooch, do you have an order of release that you could send me on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what would you like Ms. Nepstad to do when she's released?
She would need to report over here to the probation office so we can get some paperwork started for her, and she'll need to keep in touch with me until Douglas County would accept her transfer.
All right. I fully suspect, Ms. Nepstad, that you're going to be out before close of business today. If that is the case, you need to go directly over to probation. If for some reason they don't get you out before 5, which I highly doubt today, then you would need to do it first thing in the morning, but they'll know when you get out, okay?
And is it the building right next to me, Your Honor?
Right across the street, yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I just want to make sure.
You bet. Other things for our record today?
Not from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Not from the defendant. Judge, I do have one thing once we get off the record, just you and me.
Okay.
Nothing to do with the state.
Given that